Yo, what's going on, YouTube Nation? Oh man, I have missed you guys so much, so effing much, man. First and foremost, me, you can hear from my voice. I have not been the best over the past about 2 weeks. I've been down for about 2 weeks, so please also I apologize for the appearance. I know I look rough. I haven't had a haircut in a while here. Haven't got my stuff twisted. I've been bedridden for the past almost 2 weeks, man, and yeah, it was bad. Again, I work with children and sometimes they come back with all their summer germs and it hits you. But this one really got me and so I was bedridden and buddy a friend of mine told me, "Hey, you need to check your YouTube comments. People are trying to find you." And I'm like, "Oh man, I completely I apologize to y'all. It just wasn't a top concern of mine what was going on YouTube. Um because I was just trying to recover, still recovering. I'm gonna go ahead and apologize in advance because I actually tested it before I started doing this. Wanted to see how I'll be able to move forward with doing this whole thing because I think it's gonna be a longer video. Because it's about 9 minutes for Money Game Part Three. So if you can pick up the swallowing, I apologize. I really just wanted to do this. I know y'all were probably expecting this about 2 weeks ago, and it just didn't happen. Again, my bad, my fault. I did not expect to get sick either. Um, but I'll be back. I'll be back to my full self in no time. But I definitely have missed doing this, and I want to keep going. So I'm gonna shut my mouth, y'all. Probably better if I spend less time talking. So, whew, need some water. It's Nestea, y'all. It's not anything crazy. All right, guys. Without further ado, man, let's get this going. It's Ren, Senor Ren. You're up to bat again. Money Game Part Three. Let's go. Let's go. Why is this man so talented, though? Yeah. That noose on the rope, though. My goodness. This man. The way he brings in like visuals, right, from his like previous stuff. And by the way, I remember the eyes things. Y'all did call that out. I appreciate in the comments telling me like when in Money Game Part One when he opens those eyes up, right? So draws the eyes um around Romaine's eyes on the bag or whatnot, and that's to symbolize the world opening its eyes, right? I really want to see where he takes Money Game Part Three, man. I thoroughly enjoyed one and two. Loosen the noose on the rope. There you go again.
you a story about a boy named Jimmy. 1 year old and his first words were mine, mine, gimme. 2 years old he was walking, 3 years old walking quickly. 4 years old he was running round the pavements of his city. 5 years old and his daddy told him, listen here son, you gotta learn to be a man. A man, he works for what he wants. 6 years old
I'll let it play. I'll let it play.
and he's reading, writing, top man. A man, he works for what he wants. 6 years old and he's reading, writing, top of the bunch. And when he's 7, his progression made him student number 1. 8 years old and he's praised for unusual grades. 9, his parents paid for private school to nurture the flame. 10, 11, 12, 13, he ascends and ascends. His daddy tells him, son, money is the means to all ends.
Okay. I don't. At first, when I heard the name Jimmy, right, I thought, I thought Jimmy was a person. I'm thinking, Screech, right, James. I thought that's where we're going with this again. But no, I think Jimmy is not one person. Jimmy is all of us. Um, and there's something that he says. I'm gonna bring it back in a second, but two things that he hit on 5 and 8. Eight's more personal to me than anything else, but five. I want us to go back real fast and look at five, bro.
Number 1, 8 years old and he was mine, mine, gimme. 2 year named Jimmy. 1 year old and his first words were mine, mine, gimme. 2 years old he was walking, 3 years old walking quickly. 4 years old he was running round the pavements of his city. 5 years old and his daddy told him, listen here son, you gotta learn to be a man. A man, he works for what he wants.
That there. Listen up, son. You gotta be a man that fights for what he wants. On a surface level, I think it's so easy to just be gravitated to the term man. But I think you can insert anything in there and it works, right? It's not just man. I mean, I do get that, we may talk about, as well, living in a world that has been ruled by men for a very long time as well. That could be a part of this, but I honestly think that you take out the word man, you insert that with anything else, it works in this case. Not to just focus on, this isn't about just about a father to his son. These are parents to their children, grown up in the world that we grow up in. Dang, that's harsh. That's hard.
6 years old and he's reading, writing, top of the bunch. And when he's 7, his progression made him student number 1. 8 years old and he's praised for unusual grades. 9, his parents paid.
The reason I said I want to pause at 8 as well is because it just kind of hit me. It's kind of like, I'm not, obviously, Red isn't telling my story here, right? Red is telling our story and our stories. And we can usually see we can see a lot of similarities in a lot of things that we do, right? For me personally, that one hit a bit because it's like, dang, I did not go to fifth grade. I went from fourth to sixth grade. So I skipped the fifth grade, too smart for it, right? And I was 8. I was 8 years old in sixth grade. And so that just kind of hit different when I heard that.
8 years old and he's praised for unusual grades. 9, his parents paid for private school to nurture the flame. 10, 11, 12, 13, he ascends and ascends. His daddy tells him, son, money is the means to all ends. 14, solving complex mathematical equations. At 15, IQ 150, still elevating. 16, he develops complex software code that detects weaknesses in cybersecurity protocols.
Sounds like he just mentioned every tech billionaire CEO right now who, like, this was their progression in life. And yeah, they are creating all these complex codes and having zero social lives or whatnot, but they're about to become the greediest people this world has ever known. Damn.
complex software code that detects weaknesses in cybersecurity protocols. 17 and he sells his vision, keeping the share. Not yet an adult, but he's practically a millionaire. 18 and his daddy tells him, now you're a man. This world don't give a damn about you, so take all that you can. 19.
Can we agree that the world can be like this in our own lives? The world can be like this, where you're constantly told. I mean, I grew up in that world, right? In the U.S., for example. I try not to speak about places I don't know about. Even like though I live in Europe now, I tried I tried to not always speak on the culture. I don't feel as though I've lived I'd lived here long enough to be able to like speak on certain things, but I can speak about the US. And I always say this, that we were caught up in the rat race, right? We're caught up in a rat race of, we're every one of us has a role to play. You're part of that cog in the wheel, right? We're those cogs that make an entire wheel spin. And that's exactly how I feel um about how we're raised in the US. Am I saying that I would give up that work ethic that we have? Absolutely not. But I also feel there are different ways we can do it. Again, that's just a culture that we have, but I feel like we're all caught up in that rat race. We are all we're all part of the cog of that wheel, and it's so difficult when you find something else different and you're like, wow, it's possible. It's possible to still have a happy life and all that, and not just always chasing money. Because I'm sorry, you can't really survive in the United States of America if you're not making some form of money.
He turns a profit stock. Don't give a damn about you, so take all. And his daddy tells him, now you're a man. This world don't give a damn about you, so take all that you can. 19, he turns a profit, stocks and shares, invest in product. 20, double down deposits. 21, his income rockets. 22, he learns that truth is just an obstacle to wealth. If you manipulate the data, then the lie will sell itself. 23, a life of luxury, crystal and cocaine. 24, he makes the Forbes list, they're applauding his name. 25, and his daddy tells him, listen here son, while you're sitting in that palace, that don't mean that you won. 26, a business shift, he switches business to arms. He's 27, dealing nuclear and shells in Iran. 28, inside the Senate, money bought him a seat. He's 29, a role of counsel in the president's suite. Now he's 30, his
Yo, Ren's understanding of the American political system is incredible. Incredible. It's and I'm not even about to go in there and try to break down set like all these, like, it is incredible his understanding of the American political system and how, again, you can interchange all these words for like parliamentary. I think it just rhymes better, but it's still that understanding of how it works. If I'm going to use this term, let me at least use that political system so that there's an understanding there. Beautiful.
dealing nuclear and shells in Iran.
And that's the thing. He's talking about lobbyists at this moment, right? This is pretty much what this person has become, the lobbyist, right? And that's exactly what I think Ren is talking about. You grow, you become that lobbyist. And when we talk about all the people in government will run governments or whatnot, what we don't really talk about is the people behind the scenes, what some people like to call the deep state, whatever you want to call it. But there are those lobbyists behind the scenes who make sure that certain legislations make it through. It's a mess, but again, that understanding is brilliant.
Son, while you're sitting in that palace, that don't mean that you won. 26, a business shift, he switches business to arms. He's 27, dealing nuclear and shells in Iran. 28, inside the Senate, money bought him a seat. He's 29, a role of counsel in the president's suite. Now he's 30, his daddy says you're losing the race. You're just a servant to the king, not even in second place. 31, a big maneuver for his daddy's approval, moving imports over borders from the exports out of Cuba. 32, moving grams, growing kilos to tons. He's 33, filling warehouses with powder and guns. 34, turf war with nobody to stop it. Blind eye from the po-po inside of his pocket.
Damn.
35, he gets the call. I'm sorry, son, but it's your father. Had a heart attack, I'm sorry, he's gone. 36, getting pissed up, abusing his product. 37, eyes glazed, disposition demonic. 38, with a prostitute, a moment of passion. Heating up a silver spoon and then chasing the dragon. 39, getting reckless and hungry for power. Daddy's words are still driving him to kill and devour. Makes a move against the cartel, but the strategy's flawed. They retaliate and leave him in a hospital ward. A bullet buried in his vertebra and one in his leg. The doctor sighs and says, I don't think you'll be walking again.
Damn. I don't think I really need to espouse this and explain what's going on. I think that, yeah, he's talking. He's talking. Back in that wheelchair, though. Damn.
Let me tell you a story about a boy named Jimmy. He was 40 and he cursed the words, mine, mine, gimme. 41 he wasn't walking, 42 not walking quickly, 43 never running round the pavements of his city, 44 inside a palace with a mountain of gold, but those riches turn to rubble when perspective evolves. Weighing heavy on his conscience is the value of gold. Lamborghini for a life, trading money for souls. Jimmy followed the code inside the land of the free. Put your hand inside the cookie jar, take more than you need. And his example is exaggerated versions of me, and it's a version of him, and it's a version of she, and it's a version of you. There's no escaping the blame. The way we live is parasitic. Fuck the money and fame. Fuck the music.
Yes. Ouch. I hurt myself. That was too fire. I'm sorry, y'all.
Him and his land for a life.
This is what I love about Ren, man. Like, my guy, you just told his story, you pointed at one person, but then you turned that shit back on us and say, shut the fuck up, stop blaming everybody else. Like, this is you, this is me, that's her, it's him. It's all of us. We're all like this. But we all like to play as though it's not us. Come on, man, you talking.
Trading money for souls. Jimmy followed the code inside the land of the free. Put your hand inside the cookie jar, take more than you need. And his example is exaggerated versions of me. And it's a version of him. And it's a version of she. And it's a version of you. There's no escaping the blame. The way we live is parasitic. Fuck the money and fame. Cut the music.
Talk to me. Talk to me.
This isn't entertainment.
No, it's
this
not.
This is real life.
Fuck yes.
The way we live is lunacy, community, it declines. Hyperpolarized, always fighting, then we divide. Truth is less important than the money that we designed. Money's an invention. Politics from our invention. They all come from people's ideas. Did I mention? Border's an invention. Law and order fuel the tension. It leads to people killing each other. My solution?
No, bro. Come on, man.
Everything is subject to change. We could build utopias if individuals were taught to use their brains.
Agreed.
But if we teach kids in schools to always be sheep and put themselves before the herd if there's more money for me, then there's no future I see where the humans survive. We're parasites inside a petri dish with cannibal minds. Mold will grow upon the surface then consumes till it dies. And our fate could be the same without this story to the wise.
Did y'all notice he's holding a 45 in his hand? That's where the count stopped, right? It was 45. He's got a 45 in his hand right now.
45. Jimmy comes home out of the rain, soaking wet upon a wheelchair, drinking again. He is everything he wants, he is fortune and fame. He's a fortunate fool with an unfortunate fate. With a 45 caliber aimed at his brain. 45 a fitting number cause his age is the same. Here's the words of his father, it's such a damn shame. Then he presses on the trigger of a money game.
Fuck, fuck, fuck.
45. Jimmy comes home out of the rain, soaking wet upon a wheelchair, drinking again. He is everything he wants, he is fortune and fame. He's a fortunate fool with an unfortunate fate. With a 45 caliber aimed at his brain. 45 a fitting number cause his age is the same. Here's the words of his father, it's such a damn shame. Then he presses on the trigger of a money game.
Oh, man. Yo, this. Wow. I honestly don't know where to go with this, man. This was so many layers to this. Um, One thing I just want to kind of get everyone to understand is that money isn't. It's not strictly about money here. It's greed, and greed comes in all forms, right? Greed comes in different forms. It looks different. Um, Things that you may do, you may not even think about it, like being greedy. You're talking about little Jimmy, Mr. Mind, gimme. And if you just think about those three words, mind, gimme, we're not always talking about money here. It's just you've been raised to think that you're entitled to certain things. You've been raised to think that you are better than some people out there in the world. You're better than this people from this country. You're better than people, of this race. You're better than people of this. It's always something, and it's all parts of a form of greed. And it's just kind of the way Ren ends all of this at 44. This man has reached peak happiness. Like he's got everything that he wants. That at 45, you're pretty much figuring out that my life sucks. I've I've done this, I have all these accolades, but I've not lived. I'm not happy. And this one hits a little bit close to home because I know this is the part where y'all probably some of y'all gonna just come at me in the comments for saying this out loud and all, but don't like to say it. There's an epidemic going on right now of male self-deletion, right? A lot of independent studies have showed this. This is not something that I'm just pulling out of my, behind somewhere, but the more disturbing trend there is that that epidemic is heavily affecting one demographic, and that is older white men. And it's sad. It's really sad that documentaries have been made about this, independent studies have been done about this, people trying to understand. And it comes part of that greed, that hatred that we kind of just instill. Certain people have the wherewithal, and some don't, and it's just something's got to be done, man. Something has to be done, and we just unfortunately we have a problem. We're all so caught up in this rat race, also caught up being a cog that we don't even. It's not saying that you don't stop, but it's very difficult for you to to remove yourself out of that cog that you are for a few seconds to help somebody else out. It's as though we always expect some external force to step in and do it. But hey, I think the main thing I want everyone to think about is that greed comes in all forms. There's no one size fits all when it comes to greed. And if you think about greed and you only think about it in terms of money, then I think you need to reestablish yourself and really look into it a little bit deeper. But yeah, man, I know I gave a horrible intro coming into this, y'all, but I really just want to do this and get this and get this one really, really, really done and try to do the best I could. So I mustered up my energy to do it. I hope the reaction was on par with the other ones. Again, I apologize for my voice. I apologize for everything. For not being here with y'all. But what this has taught me is that I do need to get some kind of social media account so I can at least keep you all posted when something happens to me. Again, I'm new to this space, man, and it's humbling to read comments of people wondering, is he okay? Is he okay? Is he okay? That really means a lot to me. Y'all have been my day ones. You've been there with me through it out, riding with me. So I really appreciate y'all, man. Um, I hope y'all enjoy this one. I'm gonna be back to my old self. I wish I could just go ahead and just roll right into chinchilla, man, but my throat is killing me right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this video here. Um, I love y'all. Thanks again for all the love and support in the comments. I promise I am fine. Shout out to everyone who remembered that from Atlanta and know that Hurricane Helene did damage to my state, and my family members are all okay. Some of them lost homes, but that's fine. They all have their lives, and that's all that matters. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and end here. If you're enjoying the content, as always, like, share, comment, right, and subscribe. And let's keep this ship moving. Hopefully, this week I can go ahead and get y'all a chinchilla video in there, maybe an NF video as well. So, uh, the Ren games is not over, man. There's still more coming in. Let's just try to, expand a little bit more with some friends of Ren's. Uh, so without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for checking out another episode of Trey Actions. And yeah, that's it. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.